full-time job that I started 3.5 years ago now. I started it before starting this YouTube channel, and it's just it's kind of crazy. So I figured the most rational thing is to leave the country, go on a little vacation, collect my thoughts. So in this video, I did kind of want to just talk about that experience of like getting fired or getting laid off or changing anything, whether it be a career change or whatever it might be. It's a shift of gears, and sometimes you don't necessarily have the opportunity to do that unless you're forced to do that. Like in the situation that I'm in, I can be really bummed about this, really sad about it, but I'm using it as an opportunity versus kind of discouraging myself or thinking of it as a negative thing or a step back. I think it is a step forward. So the first leg of this journey is to Chicago, and then we're leaving the country. I do want to make sure I make it clear right away, if you do know the job that I'm talking about or the company, it's no like disrespect to them. I'm actually not bummed. I think it was a mutually kind of agreement in a way. Not really agreement, I like needed to come to terms with things, but we're gonna dive more into that in the video throughout this process of going to my favorite city in the world. It's almost top 3.
We are on descent into Chicago. The captain has informed us it may be.
First 4 hours are done under our belt. We got another 8-hour flight to jump on, and we got to get there quick.
And then there's another flight, so it's a long day of flight stay. But I will say, something I've never experienced in my life is first class. That is nice. There's so much more leg room. I feel like if you're an anxious person that has a lot of anxiety with flying, it's really nice. Very privileged, don't get me wrong, very privileged situation. I want to get more into that. One thing I was thinking about on the plane though is like how you go from like crisis mode to like survival mode, and that's an interesting thing. I think people naturally put themselves in the survival crisis mode when really we don't need to do that. I think we're just bred to think that we have to constantly work in order to get the things that we deserve. If you think about our education system here in America, it's all bred about being a good employee, and being an employee is kind of like almost the American dream in a way, or the American dream is having your own company with a picket fence. I guess the point that I'm getting at is that we a lot of times like fixate on how the proper right things to do things. Like it's the right thing to have a job, you're responsible, and then you can go on vacation. What I'm doing maybe isn't the most responsible thing, but I think that's like a false narrative to make people be a good employee. But you don't have to be a good employee to be a good person. Essentially, I think it's about like stripping some of those barriers away. So the reason that I actually thought about this is because got a haircut. So at the salon, I was talking to the person that was doing my hair, and we were saying how like it'd be nice to take a whole month off, but it's like, what position, what job can you really take a whole month off? There's a very, very few. You almost have to not have a job in order to take that full month off and be able to do things that you want to enjoy. It's pretty rare. So the point that I'm getting at is like sometimes you need to be kicked out the door. You kind of need to be pushed into your uncomfort zone to figure out what cool new opportunities that might in your future. Now maybe all this is just to justify not having a job, losing a job, and then going to Europe, maybe, but I think part of it is like, when do you have the time down to really just do what it is that you want to do and focus on that? You know, like it's pretty rare we have that downtime, because normally just paddle. If you didn't have a job today, you lost your job, what would you really be doing? Because I think sometimes I would be doing the same thing, but then other times I think, man, so many things I want to do. The actual job I had before, the one that I just got let go from, I quit. It was like the only job where I really quit. I had no idea what was going to happen, and then I got a really good job. So I feel like my point that I'm trying to get out here is that without one door closing, another door won't open, and you will never know what opportunities you might really have unless you just take that leap. And sometimes taking that leap is really hard. You kind of got to be pushed, essentially. There's a first for everything. It's mind blowing. I got my own little refrigerator over here. I got my headphones, I got my mirror, I got my own TV. This is luxury living. Y'all didn't really think I was going to Europe by myself, did you? My wife's coming, of course. There's no way I'd be going on this trip without her. I wouldn't be able to organize this or get this all together as good as she has. That's why we're a good team. She's my number one. What is in this thing? What is this? Blanket?
Or roll.
Almost looks like a robe. 8 hours done, baby. We got one more flight, one more hour till our final destination. Always trip out how the international airports have smoking containers, or especially in Europe, they have these little smoking containers. That was the craziest 8-hour flight I've ever been on. So cool, really privileged to be doing first class. That's not something that happens regularly. That is the first time ever. We have one more flight, one more leg until we get to my favorite city in the entire world. That's what's really cool about this place. It's somewhere where you can go skate. You can take your wife, you can eat great food, you can just be a tourism, but you can also do the things you love and like submerge into the culture. So one more flight, one more hour, and then I'm gonna reveal. We made it. Guess where we are? My favorite city in the world, my wife's favorite city in the world. We made it. She hates flying. That was a big mission for you.
Yeah.
But it was like actually probably the best time because she passed out for like 8 hours during that long flight.
8 hours.
And I just watched movies. So we're so happy to be here. I'm kind of like delusional right now. I don't know what time it is back home. Food.
Midnight.
Yeah.
Or 2 in the morning.
Yeah, I should be in bed right now.
Great.
This place is so dope. All right, so we got to an Airbnb for the next couple days, checking it out. We're in a proper Denmark, Copenhagen territory. We normally stay in a hotel whenever we come to Copenhagen, but we're kind of trying to live the, native lifestyle a little bit on this trip. In all seriousness, I think losing a job can suck, but at the end of the day, I think it's about seizing the opportunity. It's pretty rare, and that's like the one message I want to get throughout this video. It's like, you don't have to jump right next to the next job. I think it's okay to take a minute, take a beat, and do your thing. Even got a nice little outside area. Have your coffee, chill in the morning, relax.